just calls right.
We're very interested in that, and I think we think the internet is the perfect place to do it. So, the first year, Gravitonas will only be online. It will only be on the internet. We haven't really started marketing Gravitonas like a traditional band, like you would market it on radio or newspapers or television. You know, you would have 40 different countries among the first 1,000 fans, because we immediately when we started, we made our music available online. And we made our first music video available online before anybody talked about it. So the fans could be the first people to find out about it. Because the normal way is that you package an artist and you send it to the journalists and then you send it to the radio stations and then eventually people will find out about it when you start marketing it. Our idea is basically to spread everything we do online first. So the fans, who are always the quickest and the most eager to know, will find out about it first and they will then let each other know. They will put Gravitonas on their Spotify playlist. They will put Gravitonas on their blogs. They will take pictures with Gravitonas. They will make Gravitonas remixes. This is the new phase we're in now, where fans are actually making remixes of our tracks that we then are releasing. So this is a whole new way of communicating with the fans. Where
I'm sorry, was it your idea or somebody?
No, it was our idea, Andreas and my idea. We sat down a year ago and decided what Gravitonas was going to be like and how we were going to work. And we were interested in making the first band in the world, the first music project in the world that really used all the opportunities of new media. And I think the only way to do that is to close down the opportunity to use old media. To say that we're not going to use old media. We're not going to, the first TV shows that call us, we're going to turn them down. The first newspapers that call us and want us to do a newspaper interview say no. And EUROPA Plus only found out about the track today. Normally EUROPA Plus is the radio station that breaks new music in Russia. Because that's the radio station the big record companies go to and they try to get EUROPA Plus on board. In this case, we have had small radio stations around Russia that picked up the track because they're on the internet. And their friends told them, this great track called Religious, and Tiesto is playing it at his concerts, and a lot of DJs have found it already, and they didn't know where it came from, and they started playing Religious on Russian radio, and last week it had over 4,000 airplays on Russian radio. And only now people are finding out it's Alexander Bard's new band, you know? And it's great because it proves that the music itself is so good. And it involves people so much, they like the music so much, that the music has won them over from day one, so they want to spread it to their friends online. I think that's such a strong message to tell people that this music was not marketed, there hasn't been spent a single dollar on the marketing, it was only spread by friends to friends. Online, and that's why people like it. I think that's great.
Yeah, sure, it's great. And then why do you need a record company?
Because you needed to get the music up in 70 different or 100 different countries in this case, and have it on every digital platform that exists, and have it done legally. You need a big record company to do it. And basically, Universal in London love Gravitona so much because for them, we're trying out a new model. We're probably the only artist signed to Universal that doesn't have to make money for Universal. Because if our model of doing this works, it's a model that other artists can copy.
The future.
Yes, it's the future. And we've just said that let us be your Darwinian experiment. That's the attitude. And also the other thing I was going to say about Russia is that compared to all the other bands I worked with before, for the first time Gravitonas is a band that easily could work with Russian artists. It's built in a way that is so easy to connect with other artists and do things together. So we worked in Stockholm this week on a track with Klerup, who is a very hip Swedish artist. He produced Robin's #1 song in the UK, With Every Heartbeat. He wrote and produced that song. And we worked with Klerup last week on a track that we're going to put out next year. It will be Gravitonas versus Klerup. And it's so easy to connect Gravitonas to other artists. So we're looking for Russian artists we can work with. Because it's so easy to do this now because Gravitonas is not a traditional band where you promote the band and put it on a poster. Rather, it's a project run by Andreas and Alexander. We can connect, and we're both producers, we're both songwriters, so we can easily connect with other artists and do things with them and then release it instantly. I've seen these two Russian girls, and it's just like, we're not interested in artists from Russia. Yes, you are. With these two girls, you are, because they're two tiny little dykes, the two 15-year-old lesbians, and they're driving a truck through Siberia, and they're killing everybody they meet. You will sign them, because they'll be stars. And this is what charisma is. Charisma is an artist that has something unique about them. It doesn't matter if it's arranged or whether it's real. There is something unique there, so you can't take your eyes off. You're just like, wow, I want to see more of this. I want to know more. And yeah, that kind of attraction. That is what charisma is. And without charisma, artists are useless. You know,
Absolutely.
that's why I hate idol shows, TV shows, because they never produce charisma. They only produce good singers. They produce young singers who are eager to please. And to me, rock and roll was always about the exact opposite. It's always about charisma. So I'm glad Andreas never did any of those TV shows. You couldn't care less.
Yeah, by the way, you told me he was signed to Universal.
Yes, I didn't find
Why?
Andreas. They found, Universal found Andreas for
And
me.
they signed him for the purpose of, so tell me please, they signed you for the purpose of what?
I had another project going on a couple of years ago.
You were a punk singer.
Yeah, in a punk rock band, a big punk with 4 girls, 4 boys. It was like a circus thing. And then one day...
A bit like Army of Lovers. I like that.
Yeah, but
very
punk.
theatrical.
And then they called me from the record company one day and said, Alexander has this new project going on. Do you want to try out or do you want... And I said, no, hell no, I don't want to do it. And then he just grabbed the phone and, hello, can we meet up? Or, yeah, okay. So we had breakfast. And then 1 hour later we were in the studio recording the first song for Gravitonas, actually.
So we just had a very identical musical taste, which is great for a band. That's a good band is always people who have the same taste. And also we connected very well. And it's funny now when we released our first 2 EPs that some songs were originally your ideas and some songs were my ideas originally, and people can't tell the difference. Because our musical taste and our way of writing is so similar. So our melodies are so alike that that's what Universal told me. You'll be scared. You will find a young Alexander Bard when you meet Andreas. We established as a songwriter when we started working.
And whose song was that?
It's a big Japanese boy band. With, I think they have 10 members or something, called Hey Say Jump. And it's actually, they play pretty like happy music, but the song is a punk song from the beginning. But they redid the production and got big hit over there in Japan.
And we're writing for several American, British, and German artists too now, both together and separate. So that will be very, very common 2-3 years from now in Russia too, just like it is in Sweden and America now. And that will be the only way people consume music 5 years from now. CDs will be gone, downloads will be gone. 5 years from now, this is how we will consume music, how we'll consume television, film, all the major media will consume this way. So it's great for artists. Gravitonas is probably the world's first proper Spotify band.
Yeah.
Because we release everything on streaming first before we release anything else. And we have not released a single CD.
But
There's no CD of Gravitonas anywhere. And that's on purpose. Again, we want to avoid old media. So we are not releasing physical CDs.
And you're not gonna release vinyl?
Not on vinyl, no. Because it totally contradicts our... No, not for us. It's too... For Gravitonas, it's a great thing with vinyl if you are sort of a retro rock band or something. But we are not. We are a very futuristic band. So for our music and our style and for our fans, that's the wrong thing to do. There will be an album released in May. Probably the only album we ever make. And it will probably be released as a CD in some countries too. We can't stop them from doing that. But in a way, it's contradictory to what we're about. So I use my phone and I stream when I want to listen to music. If I'm in the car or if I'm at home, if I'm going to go out. And they even have Spotify now in the discos in Sweden. So if you're a DJ, you use Spotify to work. You stand with your computer screen and Spotify in front of you. And you make the playlist and you mix the songs. And you don't have a single record with you. You just go to work without any records. You come there on your own and you just turn on the computer in the DJ booth. And then you start doing Spotify. That's
and
the
the
future
artist
DJ.
makes money from it.
Yeah.
And the writers too.
Every time somebody listens to something on Spotify, a small amount of money goes to the artist. So if you have a hit song, then after a while you have several million people who listen to it, then you start making lots of money from it.
So you think that's the way, that's the end of crisis on record industry?
Yes. I think 5 years from now, the music industry will be bigger than ever.
In 5?
Yeah, 5 years. In 2015, the music industry will be bigger than ever. Yeah, that's my prediction.
Great.
Yeah.
And when you produce music, do you bear in mind that it will be only MP3? And
Not even MP3.
How do you check?
No, Spotify is great quality. It's the same quality as on a CD. It's really high quality. So now you have 4G next year you will have 4G mobile in Russia too with Yota, and I'm sure the other Vodafone, the other companies there too. They will release not only 3G but 4G. And with 4G, you move into the same capacity as a regular computer inside your own mobile phone. And by that time, you can have high resolution sound files that you stream and listen to while you stream them. And that's going to explode. That's going to be so big, and it's going to be a new global music industry.
How do you write songs? Or just sitting behind the piano?
We're very studio-oriented, aren't we?
Absolutely.
It's work. It's
You
work.
keep the
You go to
melodies
the
in your
you
head.
go to the studio at 9 o'clock in the morning, and you have your coffee, and you start working. And I keep a lot in my head. Yes, I do. I keep a lot in my head, and then I just put it down on the computer and program it. And Andreas does the same thing, and he has his own studio, by the way. We don't even share the same studio. So then we send, we're 4 guys. I'm sitting with one guy, and Andreas is sitting with another guy in another studio. And then we send the files in between us, and then we meet in the same studio, and then we work together and develop. And we write all the lyrics together, Andreas and I. Because the lyrics is the most personal thing of it all. So every song we do by Gravitonas, the lyrics are written by Andreas and me. That's how it works.
So there is no other musicians?
No.
Session musicians?
No. Computers and ideas.
Apple?
Yeah. Ideas and computers, that's what we work with. We've just gone with a single religious here that has 4,000 airplays this week in Russia. And we will work religious the next 2 months, and then we'll come with another single maybe February or March. And then there will be a regular album released in May next year. And we'll have the same release date in Russia as it has in Scandinavia. Hopefully all countries will have the same release date for the album. So the album is planned for May next year, the first album.
I see.
Although I think the EPs, I prefer the EP on
Yeah, me too.
it's kind of, the single is too short and the album is too long. And for the internet, I think the EP is perfect, which is between 4 and 6 songs.
But there's one EP before the album.
The one more EP, yeah. We'll release 3 EPs before we release the album.
Is it your first time in Russia?
Nope.
No?
You can't help this.
I actually went from Moscow to Beijing with the Trans-Siberian Railway.
Oh.
So I've seen quite a lot of Russia and Siberia.
And his favorite place was, of course, Irkutsk.
Irkutsk, yeah.
Why?
They party harder than anywhere
Party
else.
hard people. At least the ones we met. So I've been here before, but I like it.
But it was just a journey. You
Yeah,
saw
just
what
for
you-
holidays.
Mm.
Check it out.
Давайте, ребят, вот.
Oh, okay. Here we go. You guys can
We're in the middle
There
here.
we go.
Like this.
Okay? It's good?
Thank you. You will let us
Okay,
in a possible cost.
Okay.
And one more point, maybe on the logo, EUROPA PLUS.
Okay.
If it possible.
Thank you.
Oh.
And we have one business we want you to sign up, please, for it if possible.
Okay,
Just
sure.
for us,
Of course I
for
will.
our university and future. We are very grateful.